Now in its 10th year, this is GabNet. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey, everybody. Live from Harlem in New York City, it's me. Yeah, that's me, Alex, and this is the Ramble. We go out to California. That's the way I always started, because we go out to California. That's where Larry Brown is, and he's in San Francisco. How are things in San Francisco?
The Golden State, yes.
Is it any better?
Let's see. They said it was. They're starting to clean up the homeless camps around town.
Yeah. But where do the homeless go?
Well, no one seems to know, but hey, they've come by and ripped the tents down and everything, and suppose I think they're offered some type of shelter, but...
See, I mean, if you're ripping the tents down doesn't solve the problem. That only masks the problem.
Yeah.
You know. So, I mean, and you know what's strange about it, and I know you probably agree with me on this. When I was growing up in San Francisco, even in the later years, we didn't think you tore down the tents of homeless people. You know? We were always a little more giving, weren't we?
Yeah, but that was before there was 10,000 of them.
There were 10,000 of them. And
I'm trying to remember. I think the first time I remember seeing or hearing about homeless people was maybe like in '84 here.
Really?
It was a very small problem, but people were kind of becoming aware of it. So maybe it's been with us for 40 years, I guess.
It could have been around for quite a while, and we just didn't pay attention to it. You know, that it wasn't major, and we didn't pay attention to it. And also, it could have been where the homeless had a tendency to hang out, which might not have been in the areas that impacted the people who lived in those neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, in other words, they did it in places that, you know, here in New York, believe it or not, there is a major population who lives under the subways.
I think I've heard about this. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've seen, you know, reporters and stuff who've decided to go down there. And literally, I mean, there are thousands of people down there.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds like a movie.
But they don't impact that vision of homeless people, right? Although we do have a lot of homeless in New York City, but we always have. And people just imagine there are more because we had this migrant thing about the migrants coming in. But, you know, the migrants, most of them don't really want to live off charity. They'd like to earn a living, you know? And so they're not the same way, you know? It's weird. It's very weird. And it doesn't cause a major problem at all. But because they say, oh, we have all, there's that sound again. Boy, I've got this sound that happens, and the audience may hear it. I keep hearing it. It's weird. Boy. Well, anyway, where was I? So, anyway, the homeless, it's just, what do we do about the homeless? I guess get them homes, and they won't be homeless.
Well, yeah, most of them are mentally ill or have drug problems. So.
Well, not all of them do. A lot of them are have been the product of the society, okay, and they then become homelessness. I think causes more homelessness. In other words, people who, if there's no exit route out of being homeless, then people don't go looking for it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know, and then they'll always be homeless. But you know, homelessness in San Francisco was not a big deal when I was there. I When I left, it still wasn't a big deal.
Yeah, well, you'd be shocked now.
We did have a problem, though. I'll tell you. Do you remember I did this on the radio show? I was appalled by the homeless who didn't have a place, and the homeless argued to me that if they could just talk to the mayor of San Francisco and get him to listen, they'd tell him what the problems were. I mean, half the reason there's a big homeless problem is nobody listens to them and nobody understands why, in fact, they're homeless. Everybody goes, oh, anybody can get a job. Anybody who wants to work can get a job. Yes, but why not? You know, what's the problem? And I haven't been able to understand the problem myself either. So I talked to one homeless person who said, yeah, the mayor, we can't get the mayor to listen to us. So I got a hold of Willie Brown, and I said, Willie, we got these people, and they really want to talk to you about their homelessness. And this was at a time when it wasn't as bad in San Francisco as it supposedly is now. And Willie Brown said, sure, set it all up. I said, okay, we'll hold it in the plaza in front of City Hall, okay? And then all you have to do is come down the stairs and talk to these people, spend a bit of time with them and answer their questions. So it comes a day, and we do the remote. You got to get all the wires all set up and everything to get it back to the station. That was the old days where you couldn't just get on a cell phone and do it. And we do our whole show, and now it's time for the mayor. First of all, he doesn't show up on time. And then he finally shows up and stays with us. And it's supposed to be like, this town hall with the mayor, and the town hall was comprised of homeless people who want to confront him with the problems that they have every day and why they have these problems. And Willie Brown comes down, says hello, and turns around and leaves. Well, so much for the town hall. You want to talk about what the problem is? The problem is people like Willie Brown who won't listen.
That's hilarious.
I simply felt they had no fault, and they, whatever. So, what is that?
Well, it's so...
Well,
now it's so expensive to live anywhere.
Wait a minute, hold on a second. That's a phone ringing. Now it's ring. Oh, I don't know where it is. That's strange. Phone ringing. There's all kinds of noises happening today. I have my phone in the other room, and it isn't my phone. Oh, I know what it is. Marjorie. Oh, of course, she's charging her phone in here. That's what it was. Oh, boy.
Well, you found the problem.
No, that isn't the blipping problem. The blipping problem I'm hearing with every now and then when I talk to you, and it sounds like the sound that is made when Skype fails, But what the hell? And maybe it's trying to fail, but it can't. Anyway.
Right. Weren't they big at one time? Or?
Yeah. Yeah.
Are they still around? Or
Skype?
Yeah, all these internet companies just.
Well, I use Skype every time I talk to you.
Okay.
And the reason is you got rid of your high-speed internet so we could have set up on Zoom and everybody could see that ugly mug of yours.
Yeah.
Your story is the story I tell everybody about the ultimate Luddite. That after a long time you couldn't get, I understood it when you couldn't get high-speed internet. But the day they put it in your apartment and you had it for a month and got rid of it, that I didn't. That I. Yeah. What was going through your mind at that time?
I thought it was interesting for a few weeks, and then I just.
Interesting.
I think I found actually I was spending too much time on it. That's what was the problem.
Oh, I see. That's what it was.
just
couldn't
watching these
control your
mindless
urges.
videos. Yeah.
What were
I
you?
think I would have gotten bored.
What, you got on YouTube and you couldn't get off of
YouTube,
it?
yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah, but I mean, wasn't it easier for you to talk to people, and wasn't it faster to get your email? You know.
Emails, emails are kind of even on dial-up or okay, and that's all I need it for.
That's all you need it for. Yeah. Yeah. Except for this once every 2 weeks, where it'd be nice to see you and let people see video instead of. I'm still running a still of you and an animation going on behind you.
Yeah, it's just better they see me a 20-year-old picture than the current version.
The current version?
Yeah.
I can't imagine it's changed much. You always looked old, you know. You always had an old personality.
Uh-huh.
So you've been working with anybody interesting lately?
Haven't been doing much work lately. I think I'm getting out of the business.
You're getting out of the business, or the business is getting out of you?
Yeah, I think it's getting out of me. Like you said, we all have our time, and that time may be coming up.
Well, I mean, it's whether you want to work or not, too. How old are you now?
7'2".
So you've got your Medicare and you've got your Social Security, and really, in a way, you don't have to work. But you enjoy it, don't you?
Not really.
Well, then if you don't, it's time to quit.
Yeah.
The minute you stop enjoying doing this, I could say I'm not enjoying this as much as I used to. Podcasting isn't as much fun as doing live radio. Now, I know that's an old concept, folks, because there are kids out there who got their little podcast and they love doing it, and I got a great podcast. But, as you get older, you kind of want to go back to those fine old days where you had a radio show.
Yeah.
And it just went out there and people heard it as it was happening.
That was the best.
Yeah, although those days don't exist anymore. I could never do my show today. I was watching, I got to tell you, this will interest you. I was watching on YouTube because I do go on YouTube and waste my time on it. All of a sudden, when you ask for something, all of a sudden things like it keep coming up, okay? Mm-hmm. And I guess I looked at some old black and white TV show from 1948, and all of a sudden, all the things that came up were old TV shows from like 1948, 1952, kinescopes from those days, right? So last night, when I was growing up, one of the things that influenced me in radio was a radio show you never heard of, probably. Some people are going to say, oh, I've heard of it, but no, you've heard of the one with two black guys doing it now, called The Breakfast Club with Don McNeil. And this was on every morning, and it was a variety show for an hour. There were singers on it. There was an orchestra that they had. And they did, they in the middle of the show, like a halfway point in the show, they had the part that I loved when I was a kid. And I was 8 years old when I was listening to this. And it was called, okay, everybody, let's march around the breakfast table. And they would play this march music, and everybody in the studio was marching around, and I would march around my breakfast table. And I was
That's
just
hilarious.
But that was the kind of thing that influenced my kind of radio. All right. So now, it's years later, I'm in San Francisco. I've got a radio show, and we decide we're going to do Supper with Schwarzman. And really what that was to me was I was doing the Breakfast Club.
Okay.
And we had entertainers, and the only thing we didn't have was people marching around, well, in that case, the dinner table. And that's what influenced me in doing radio. Radio was pictures of the mind, And that's what we were doing constantly with our radio show. So when I saw this last night, I just went, God, I was 8 years old, And when he was saying, "Let's all go march around the breakfast table," which they did on this kinescope, it was a video version of the radio show they did, and they were doing it out of Philadelphia. And I just sat there and went, God, this is where it all began for me. There were people like Jack Benny and shows like that also influenced me. But if anything really influenced me on how to do a morning show, it was that show.
That's interesting.
And so, the orchestra they had was probably as large as Dick Bright's orchestra when we were at the Fairmont. And it was a huge orchestra, and, people sang and danced, and they made jokes, and they little repartee back and forth between each other. And that was
was this a local or a national show?
It was a national show.
So this guy was big.
He was very big. He was all over the country. The Breakfast Club with Don McNeil. And when these guys here started a show now that's out there called The Breakfast Club, I was pissed off because it wasn't The Breakfast Club. You're not marching around the breakfast table, okay? Yeah. So I sat there and I just kind of went, gee, I was 8 years old when this thing was being done. I probably listened to that very show that morning.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's how radio informed me. Those were
you had your career at age 8.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's amazing there's a video of it because in those days there was barely television. Television was just starting to form, and more on the East Coast than on the West Coast. In fact, okay, this is another story. I would like to have you talk more about your background than me.
This is more interesting to me. So let's go.
These stories. So I don't want to be rude, but. The first time I ever really was entranced by television, everybody knows about Milton Berle, or maybe everybody doesn't know about Milton Berle. But Milton Berle was the first guy to have a hit television show, a thing called the Texaco Star Theater. It was on at 8 o'clock on Tuesday nights. See, I remember all of that. And there was one television set in my neighborhood, and it was in the window of Fagoni and Riley. What's that square in front of the church down in North Beach? What's the
Washington Square?
I think it's called Washington Square Park. It was on one side of Washington Square Park. And they would have a TV set in the window with a speaker outside attached to the TV set, so that you could stand there and watch Milton Berle. And you'd have to get there early because there were a massive ton of people down there ready to watch it. And that was my first real remembrance of television. I think I finally saw it in a store one day, and they had Channel 5 on. And it was later in the day, because when we first got our first television set, which was a Traveler. I know you've never heard of the brand, and you never will again.
No.
But it was a brand at the time, and my father bought a TV set, and they came out and they installed the TV set. Now, you think about installing a TV set today, you go down to Costco, get yourself a big-ass picture, right? You somehow put it in a car, get it in some way that you can get it home. And you get it home, you stick it up on your dresser, and you watch a big-ass TV set. Well, in those days, they brought the TV set in in a truck, and then they would bring it up to your apartment, or in my case, your home, and then they would proceed to install, in my case, a 20-foot television antenna on the roof. That's how we got the picture. And that was our first television set. And they were up there, I think, for 3-4 hours trying to aim that antenna for the proper picture. And if you really had a little extra bucks, you could get yourself a antenna rotor that would rotate the antenna so you could get the optimum picture. And we were in Marin County, so the signal did not get into Marin County as easily as it would today, for instance. So anyway, that was my first inclination of TV.
And do you remember how much a TV cost?
I'm thinking $500.
That's a lot of money then.
Yeah, maybe less, maybe $300. The installation came with it. And you know how cable started? Interesting story. What happened, a guy would, let's say, own a TV store where he's selling TV sets, but he can't sell them because he's in Klamath Falls, Oregon, and the closest signal to Klamath Falls, Oregon is like 200 miles away. So how are you going to sell a TV set to a person? So what you do is you go up on the top of the hill and you put up a receiver to receive all the signals from like 200 miles away. And then you run a cable from that receiver down into the town. And then you take that cable and you spread it out over that town so that people can then get those signals from far away using a cable from the receiver on the top of the hill. Where do you think we got the term cable from? That's exactly where we got it from.
Yeah.
People could not sell their TV sets unless they would say, okay, here's a TV set, and by the way, guess what we're giving you for free? We're giving you a cable. And they would give the people a cable. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, how long ago was that?
That was in, well, I'm trying to think that when I worked in Klamath Falls, Oregon, which was in 65, I think they still had cables coming in.
Okay.
You know? So that's how the whole cable industry was created. It wasn't for, a town like San Francisco so Larry Bubbles Brown can get all his TV shows. Is that what you're using now? You still using cable? You must be.
No, I've got the old antenna.
Oh, Larry! I should probably put that on your tombstone.
Yeah.
I still have the old antenna.
Uh-huh.
And so it's on top of your TV set?
Yeah, and you had to get a digital converter box about 10 or 12 years ago
yeah.
So but it's still picked up through the antenna, and then it comes through the box. And
I'm afraid to ask you this question. What kind of TV set do you have?
It's called an Ace. Let's see. It's called. I've had it. I bought it. I can remember I bought it December of 2006.
Oh God!
And it's called.
It's almost 20 years ago, folks.
It's a Memorex.
Memorex? Mm-hmm. They used to make audio. They used to make audio and videotape.
Yeah.
And how does your Memorex? Is it color?
It's color.
Oh.
It's 20 inches. It was. I think that's the last year before everything went flat screen. Weighed a ton. I think that's where I got my hernia, carrying a damn thing up here.
Oh boy!
It's huge.
Have you ever thought about getting a flat screen? No.
I'm going to as soon as this thing burns out. But it's going on. This is 18 years old now. So.
Oh, God. Larry, and you still use an antenna on top of the TV set to get the pictures from. And the tube has got to be a cathode ray tube. It's not, a flat screen tube.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the back of the TV goes back like 3 feet.
I don't know what you would do if you went out and got a 4K television set. You would just go bonkers because you wouldn't be able to stand how clear the picture was.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Bubs, what are we going to do about you? I mean, what's it going to take to get you into this century?
My death.
Yeah, somebody said, why does he do that? And I said, I think he just basically does it because he doesn't want to lose his reputation. He's got a reputation to live up to. Am I right?
Well, I could do it secretly, I guess.
Yeah. Secretly, in back of this old TV set, I've got a flat screen, and I just move the old TV set away and watch programs. Oh, Larry, what are we going to do?
It's amazing to me that the flat screens should have come in like 30 or 40 years before they did. But
yeah, well, we didn't have the technology, believe it or not. We didn't have all the chips and stuff like that, that could make the flat screen possible. The only way we knew how to make a picture show up on a screen was the old cathode ray tubes, which have been around since the very beginning. Yeah. They were the original things. But anyway, hey, listen, we've run out of time here.
We have.
God, it's so much fun talking to you. And
yes, we finished strong today.
We finished strong today. A lot of great stories about old TV. The old man relishing the old days.
Yeah, that was great.
And the other old man who kind of relishes the old days but still refuses to have anything else but a cathode ray TV.
Still living in the old days.
Sad. Anyway, thanks, Larry. We'll talk to you next week.
Alec.
Bye-bye.
You got it.
Now in its 10th year, this is GabNet. Talk like you've never heard it before.
There he goes. That's Larry Bubbles Brown, and he is our resident curmudgeon. So am I, actually. So, well, hello, everybody. I only have one person waiting to come on right now, and we'll get to him in a second, I guess. I don't understand. Oh, well, we got the World Series tonight. Are you all Dodgers or Yankees fans? Okay. Anyway, well, if we don't get a lot of people, we don't have Amy on tonight. We don't have her on for the next week either. And that being the case, if we don't have enough people, I can sign off early and go to sleep early and, do a lot of other stuff. Go in the other room and jerk off. I don't know. Any one of a number of things. Anyway, how you all doing today? I'm a bit tired and exhausted. I'll tell you why. I went, you ever get yourself a new phone? In the old days when I wanted to buy a phone, I just went down to the Apple store and I bought just got an Apple iPhone, right? And we get a hold of AT&T or whoever the company was, and we'd then sign up for it, and then we'd get all our service and everything. I've still got, I think, my original iPhone right over here, believe it or not, okay? So, let me bring these people in while I'm telling this story, okay? Then we will have, how did we do that? Oh, I see. That's why that happened. There we go. Now we're okay. Let's see. Tom Yamaguchi is, I have to admit him. Okay, let's see here. There we go. Okay. Anyway, I'm telling stories here. I think Tom needs to clean off his lens. I believe he needs to. Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, just clean it off. Oh, now you smeared it up.
I've had that problem earlier.
There you go. That's good now. That's clear and that's clean.
Oh, my God.
Anyway, I was talking about when I first bought my first iPhone, I just went down, bought the phone, called AT&T, they turned the goddamn thing on, and that was it, right? Well, today I went down, first time in 3 years, to buy a new iPhone. I haven't done it in 3 years. I don't know why. I haven't really cared because they haven't improved that much, from what they were. And so I didn't need to get a new one immediately, okay? So today, but then now our batteries are dying and all of that, and so it was time for Marjorie and I to get a new one. So I go down to the store, and this guy we do business with at AT&T, and he signs me up everything. He gets me all set up, and the way he's got me set up, do you know how much I'm paying for the new phone? It's a $1,200 phone. I'm paying $10 for the phone. For some reason, they got one thing going and another thing going, and ultimately, if I keep it for a year and a half, I can go get myself another one, or in 3 years, I pay the thing off. The reason I wanted to just buy it outright, but he told me, don't do that. And I said, why not? He said, they've got a deal right now that if you just, to begin with, you've got Marjorie, put her on your account with you, and they have a deal where if you do all this stuff, one thing or another, it only comes to about $10. And I'm going, that's ridiculous, but it does. So, but that was for starters, right? Now, I'm at the store, and of course the guy starts trying to sell me other stuff. And I need a plug here, and I need a plug there, and I needed this for that. And hey, that thing we could have on either side of our beds to hold the phones would be really nice because it's modern and new, and we've had the other ones for like 6 years or something. So after all of that, the bill comes in today just for the extras and a few other little things that they had to add on for the whole thing. It comes out to $1,000. You remember when you just walked in, you got the phone, you left, you had it turned on, good, you're good to go. No more. So he said that, that he couldn't give me all those deals to get the price of the phone down if I didn't take it on the installment plan. So I went, okay, we'll do the installment plan. There's no interest, so it doesn't matter. But man, he was turning it on, and the Marjorie's had to get turned on, and hers wasn't turning on right, and they weren't able to move stuff over as fast, and we had to go next door and get lunch. And one thing, by the end of it all, after we came home, we were exhausted. And then all of a sudden, my watch wasn't syncing to the phone, so I had to call the guy to sync the phone to the watch. And it's more than an old man like myself can take. And you remember?
I missed the first part. You have an iPhone. You went up to the 16. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. I don't know anybody that owns one, but now I know that you own one.
Yeah, well, it's just like the other ones.
You have AT&T, is that what you said?
Yeah.
I do too. And when I traded in my last phone for my iPhone 14, they had a deal where you get $380 back, but you've got to sign up for a 3-year AT&T contract.
Yeah. That's what I had to do.
They give you.
You know what they gave me back for each of our phones?
Yeah, but then they give you back the 380 divided by 36. Each month they give you back a portion of it. I couldn't just pay the phone off and get the rebate.
Yeah, but do you know how much money they gave me for each phone?
A lot if you only had to pay $10.
Yeah, well, to begin with, that part of it was $700 a phone.
Wow.
So why not? I went with it. Yeah. What the hell? But it was all this other stuff. He sold me. He was putting stuff on stuff that I told him, take that off. I don't want that. I don't want that charger. He got me a charger for my phone. Okay, I'll do it. I'll let the guy make a little extra money. I like him. Okay. But then I look, and he's got one sitting on Marjorie's phone, too. And I went, no, not two of these things. Not at $90 a piece. Come on, later on. See you later. Okay.
You should have waited till you got on the show, because then Alan would have got an idea and sent you a free charger. Okay.
Anyway, I don't, I mean, it used to be very simple, and I didn't have to spend a whole day in an AT&T store with them doing one thing after another. Remember, they could send you the phone, and you knew how to just turn it on, and then it just worked you through it. I don't know. It's just.
I was thinking about getting the 16, but then Charlie'd have to get one.
Well, the only reason I got one, what's yours? What's your current version?
Mine is a 14.
Mine was a 13.
Oh, okay.
You know, and the battery was dying, and I could have had the battery replaced and had that phone working for the next 10 years. But then you know what happens is Apple comes along and says, by the way, we're not updating the this phone that you have because we're not what do you call it, taking care of that phone any longer. So you're not going to be able to upgrade it anyway. So anyway, when it runs out of a battery power, get a new one, unless the battery died a year in or something, you know. So that's my story of my day, and I'm exhausted. I am just.
And I didn't go anywhere.
I mean, it's not a thing for an old man now any longer, you know. Used to be, I was just all easy with this stuff, and I'm not anymore. Has it gotten more difficult?
I think so.
It has? Okay. Because I would like a phone company that goes, we're the old people's phone. You turn it on, it works. You know?
Straight Talk from Walmart has that set up.
Well, I didn't see any reason to get another phone for 3 years because what did they, you know, every year, what do they add to it? They have very little more they add to it from last year, you know? But they try and make it look like it's a big deal. Oh, this one's AI capable. What?
That's the trick. They tell you capable.
Huh?
You know, iPhone 16, they said, is going to have all this AI, but they put the phone out before they came out with the AI, and the AI is going to be in increments now, they're telling you.
Yeah, no.
So
and probably it will work on the old phones, too.
Yep.
See? So, I mean, what's new? You know, I mean, maybe the camera's a bit better than the one I had. But it's been 3 years, you know, and they've improved on the cameras on that, you know. But, man, it took forever. It took all
Tom's
day.
probably still got a flip phone.
Huh?
No, I
I
got my iPhone 11,
Mm-hmm.
That's what I
which
traded
I got. Actually, just before the pandemic was one.
11? What? Oh, well,
11.
they sold you an 11. The 12s or 13s were already out.
I think it was. It had been out a while. Yeah.
Yeah, well, why not? You know, I would suggest if people want to go down and get a phone and they are still selling them 13s or, you know, 12s, buy them. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, because nothing much has changed.
camera mainly.
The camera mainly and a few other small things, you know. But, I mean, just, anyway. And on Marjorie's end of the deal, she's exhausted. And then I had to fix her phone to get her Google working. And, well, we're fine now. We're fine now.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
So what's happening today? Anything that we should see? There's nobody here now, basically.
No.
Why?
It's the World Series.
World
Everybody's
Series.
watching the World Series. See?
Who cares?
Well, I'm not a Yankees fan and I'm not a Dodgers fan, so I don't care. It would have been interesting if it was Mets versus the Yankees. I think a Subway Series would have been nice.
Then you would have had an earthquake.
Yeah, then we would have had an earthquake.
That's right.
So you've been spared an earthquake.
Yeah, that's what happened the last time. There was a what we call
Giants and A's, yes. 1989.
Trans Bay or whatever. What do we call it?
Bay Bridge Series,
Bay Bridge Series. Yeah.
which collapsed.
Which wasn't there by the time it was over with. Yeah. But you know something? You know what's interesting about that? I was there for the earthquake. I can tell you exactly where I was. You probably can tell me, Tom,
Yes,
exactly
I know
where you were. You probably
told
can
us
tell me
many
exactly where you were, Alan.
Thank you, Tom.
You told us many times.
Yeah. And I've told the story many times. But we all knew where we were. But what's strange is you ask most people in the Bay Area where they were when the earthquake hit, and they will tell you Candlestick Park. And I go, there weren't that many people at Candlestick Park because they couldn't fill that many people in there. Everybody thought they were at Candlestick Park. You know?
I was sitting home waiting for a pizza to be delivered.
Yeah?
Had the TV on, the news station, and told my roommate, that was a minor earthquake.
Did the guy get there with the pizza?
No, never get the pizza. But the news helicopter was showing the traffic report and showed the collapse of the Bay Bridge, and I went, "Oh my God, that was a lot stronger up there than it was down here."
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there was a lot. I had a friend of mine, other than you, that lived in the marina that their house collapsed.
Where were they?
Uh, not home. They were on vacation.
No, but I mean, did you say they had a place in the marina?
Yeah, they had a place in the marina.
Yeah.
And it was, I forget what they call it, where the house is built over the garage, but the garage is not very well supported, soft side or something.
Wait a minute.
Soft
All
story.
all the home, all the garages there were under the apartment houses.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah,
And
and
their
what
place collapsed into their garage.
we didn't collapse at all, but they had one. I was gone during that time. I was in Florida. Okay, while they were doing all the fixing and all the shoring up, but they had to put in a heavier, you know, they didn't call it foundations, but they were on struts. They were on, on pylons, and they had to put new ones in. And but they they got the marina going back pretty fast, about a year after
Quicker
that.
than the bridge.
Huh?
Probably quicker than the Bay Bridge.
I think they did the Bay Bridge pretty fast, didn't they? If I remember correctly.
No.
How really?
The temporary repair, yeah, but the replacement took a decade.
Right.
They built another bridge right next to it.
Right.
Is what they did. But I'm
That
talking
takes
about
like
the
4 or 8
actually
months,
fixing
too.
the bridge itself. They managed to get that going pretty fast.
Yeah, about a month or so.
Until then, if you lived in Oakland and you had to go to San Francisco to work, you had to go all the way up through Richmond, across the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge, which, by the way, coming in the other direction has another name. Has a name of somebody. Very strange. Anyway, then you'd have to go through Marin, down across the Golden Gate Bridge and into San Francisco. Pretty long commute.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I was fortunate. I lived south of Oakland, and so I could take not the Bay Bridge anymore, but I could take the Dumbarton, or I could take the San Mateo and go up 101 into the city.
Well, what couldn't you do back then that you can do today that would have solved that problem?
Lived in Florida.
No, work from home.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's good.
Yeah, we didn't have the
Who
internet back
works,
then.
though?
Yeah,
Yeah. Who works?
right. So everybody had to go to work anyway, and get there any way they could.
Fortunately, I was working in the same city that I live in, so I didn't have much of a drive.
Yeah. Well, I lived in the marina.
And you worked in San Francisco.
Yeah, but I worked in the marina, which was, literally rubble at that
Yep.
point.
I remember.
Uh,
I drove down there the next day.
Yeah, my apartment house didn't fall or anything like that, but I had cracks in my wall,
Yeah.
And right next door to us, the apartment next door to us, almost fell down completely.
Wow.
It was kind of random, the destruction.
Yeah.
You kind of thought, the destruction, happened. It was like it was like a hand, and here there wasn't a problem, here there wasn't a problem, but here there was a problem, in between. So it was like fingers that got attacked. But anyway.
Yeah.
What-
1989. Huh?
Yeah, and I was out of work. I was out of
The
work.
Oakland Hills fire happened like a year or two afterwards, I think.
2 years, 1991.
Was that
Yeah.
after Loma Prieta?
Yeah, that
2 years after.
that destroyed a lot of land, a lot of property, and lives.
Yep. And but the Bay Area California's been hit with a lot of tragedies lately, and over the years,
Well, over the years, but I think if you look at the Midwest and the East Coast, they're getting hit after storm after storm after storm. And unlike an earthquake or a fire, you can't see that coming, but these people can see because of technology. They can see the storms coming, and I don't know.
No, you can see the storms.
I love in Florida where they tell everybody to evacuate,
and nobody
outdoors.
does.
Yeah, that's the first thing. The other thing, of course, is you see the freeway all blocked up on one side. Why don't they open both sides of the freeway and let them go out there?
Well, I think there's a human part of the human condition that says, I don't want to leave my home.
Yep.
You know, I don't want to give up my home. You know, but,
understand.
you know, I look at
think
these
you're right.
people, you know, they're all underwater and everything, and it's sad. It's really sad. Because that kind of situation never happened a few years ago. And that's what's the problem with it all, you know.
I think it's global warming.
Yeah, Katrina is the first time I remember places being completely underwater, from people having to be rescued from rooftops.
Yep, yep. But you know, I mean, anybody that says it doesn't have to do with global warming is nuts.
Yep.
So you know, all those right wingers, those MAGA people, are nuts. They're crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
If Trump gets elected, I feel sorry. We're all at an age where we're at the last third of our life, or whatever. And
You're at the last third of your life. I'm at the last fifth of 5% of my life.
whatever. You got my point. I feel sorry for kids that are growing up that have to deal with Trump's, all the crap that he's going to pull if he gets elected, and screwing up the country for.
I just don't see it happening. Okay, I don't know. I know the possibilities are great.
Elected or screwing it up.
Well, what we're being told by all the news operations is what a close race it is.
Yeah.
But that's because it gets them viewers.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, I don't think it's that close. I think they all know that the people who are voting are not as easy to poll as they used to be.
Nope.
It used to be pretty easy, you know. Didn't have the internet, you didn't have
voting.
anything else. Right? You just polled people and usually could do it within a few points either way. But now it's all different, you know.
Cell phones.
Well, I mean, do you think that somebody who is married to a MAGA husband is going to tell him or tell anybody that she's going to vote for Kamala? No.
No.
But do you think when she gets into that booth or she is doing that privately in one way or another, she might not just vote for Kamala? You know,
I think that's possible.
I mean, I don't see how anybody can vote for that guy. I mean, you know, today we find out he was hanging out with what's his name, the sleazebag Jeffrey Epstein. He was hanging out with him.
Damn Jews.
This woman came along and said that he groped her on the insistence of Jeffrey Epstein. You know, whatever. The guy's a sleazebag. You know. And,
I'll be right back.
oh, okay.
Don't worry, the score's 0-0. I don't know.
Yeah. But I don't know, you know. I just don't. I don't know what's going to happen. It could go either way.
I don't understand why people are not on this show when they're watching the World Series. You could tape or do whatever and watch the World Series later. This is important.
Well, no, but the point is that the reason why is they. What was the point you brought up? What was
it's
it?
only game one.
That's how exhausted I am.
well,
You don't see why. Yeah, I'll tell you. I don't know. I really don't know. Tony, where are you tonight? You're not. Are you watching the? I guess he would watch the Yankees, wouldn't
Yeah,
he?
he likes the Yankees. Yeah.
Yeah, he would watch the Yankees. Yeah. So
Jeff is probably watching them.
Jeff is probably
Never
no.
misses.
Jeff doesn't care about sports,
Oh, okay.
but it could be he went to bed early tonight. I don't know. Yeah.
And well, Charlie umpires, but softball, not baseball, so he doesn't care about baseball,
Don't have time for it.
right?
You don't have time for what?
For baseball.
For baseball, yeah. Wait a minute. What does this say? 0101011
Oh, yeah,
011.
Yes, you are too.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. What?
That's binary for geek. Geek.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh boy, you have in order to read his
I thought
shirts.
maybe this was Trump's new address system.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't understand it. I don't understand how it can be this close. I mean, I don't think it's that Kamala is that abhorrent. But I asked Marjorie tonight. I said, "Are there really guys out there who won't vote for a woman?"
Unfortunately, yes.
I'll be right back.
Because he disappears now.
No, I'm still here. I just have to do something that didn't need to be in the video.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Pick your ass. Go ahead. Anyway,
That's right.
so
That's right.
no, I just I can't understand why guys would be that macho that they wouldn't vote for a woman if she could do the job over the other guy. And a lot of these guys are voting for Trump because he's macho.
Yeah.
This guy's a fucking crying baby wimp.
Yep.
Somebody's getting the wrong message somewhere. And now Trump has called America a garbage pail.
I know.
You're
would you
insulting
vote for
us.
somebody?
What are you doing?
Yeah.
He's desperate. That should tell you there it's not close. He's getting so desperate.
You think, well, what's he desperate about? He supposedly is even with her.
That's what I'm saying. He knows the truth that he's not even with
I think he's got numbers we don't have, okay?
Well, they're all blowing smoke up his ass with telling him, oh, she's only got 25%. You got 75%.
Well, listen. If she loses, what did we get out of it? A Beyonce concert and a Bruce Springsteen concert. So what the hell?
Yeah.
Beyonce did a whole concert down there, right? Or she did some music.
I thought she was supposed to, Beyonce or somebody was supposed to do a concert this weekend with Kamala.
Oh, really?
I think that's Beyonce's.
No, I think Beyonce was today in Houston, wasn't it?
Oh, okay.
Oh, it was in Houston. You're right.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's probably what I read.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I mean, do I want a guy as president? I don't care. We've had guys long enough, and they've screwed up this country one right after the other. I just think that give a woman a chance. Women have a much more better sensitivity towards things.
I think she's got three things going against her. They're not the three things that bother me at all. I think because she's black, that goes against her for white men. Because she's a woman, white men again. And because what was the third thing? I don't know.
Well, white men again.
Yeah, white men again. So yeah, just and I don't know. I mean, people can't see how bad Trump screwed up last time, and he's going to get in office, and he's going to be, he's going to change his name to Hitler or something.
Yeah, yeah. But I don't.
They don't remember last time how you wouldn't even get to the office until noon because he was watching TV,
Right.
watching Fox News all morning.
I think Melania has spent 2 nights in the White House.
Well, no, she spent more time than that in the White House. But she hasn't been spending much time at Mar-a-Lago. I think she's been living in New York City because she sent Barron
Yeah.
Yeah.
to school
Do
here.
You want to sleep with him? Hell no.
I hope Barron's going to turn out to be a nicer person than his father. And I think there's a possibility that's going to happen because his father doesn't spend enough time with him to have an imprint on him.
He's probably in a private school in New York.
So why don't we start a rumor here? Everybody who's listening to us, just start a rumor here that Melania, about 2 years ago, had an abortion.
And it's running for president against Kamala.
No. But she had an abortion, and she wanted it because she didn't want to have another Trump. Ta-da! Everybody, start that rumor going before the election, okay?
Yeah, there you go.
And that's why she's pro-abortion. Ah, gotcha. Yeah. Oh, boy. We live in strange times,
Part
don't
of,
we?
part of the thing what people don't understand, I think, and maybe they do, is that, and Josh would probably say this, I don't know, but is that, even though Trump and Kamala both say all the things they're going to do and want to do,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times they don't get them done because Congress gets in the way.
Yep.
Trump had total control his first 2 years. He had the Senate and all of Congress and him, and he couldn't get the wall built. He couldn't get Obamacare canceled. He couldn't get a lot of things done.
Yeah.
So, they all say what they want to do, but they rarely get.
Okay, so if that's the case, okay, that being the case, that he's a lazy president, he doesn't do anything, okay,
Well, I think
what
he
makes you
tried.
think he can get anything done if he's president again?
I don't think so.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, there's no
Yeah,
reason
that's-
to think that.
That's exactly what I'm
But
saying. Yeah.
sometimes not getting anything done is worse than getting something done, right?
Well, it looks like
Done.
it looks like he'll be able to jail all his enemies and have the Supreme Court declare that's as part of his official duties, and so there's nothing that we can do to stop it. That's
Well, he wants to get all the networks, wants to get all the broadcasters, and that he might be able to do, although it's going to be a little harder where the networks are concerned because, number one, the networks aren't licensed by the FCC or by any governmental agency outside of like the FTC and the normal things that would be involved in business. So it's kind of hard to believe that he could go out after these TV networks. And the thing is, he can't go out after the what do you call it, online services, because I don't think, am I right or am I wrong? But they're not governed by any governmental agency. I mean, they can be looked into by a governmental agency for something they feel might be illegal or something like that, which is possible. But
well, at least it seems like he's got Jeff Bezos scared
Yeah.
what in what way?
in the fact that the Washington Post was going to print a endorsement of Paris, and he killed it. He killed the endorsement. And the speculation is he's afraid that if Trump gets in, that he's going to start cracking down on
Amazon.
his businesses. He's got to get retribution against Bezos.
Yep.
Well, I have to, in part of the way, I have to kind of agree with him. Don't you think it's time we started doing a little something to slow down Amazon? I mean, think about all the businesses. Think about all the businesses that are
I
in.
wouldn't have been able to
What?
get you a cane and Marjorie a cane.
That's true, but on the other hand, I might have been able to get that cane from some independent cane maker. Who, I was thinking today as I was at this place, this AT&T store, and I got some real money recently, so I don't care if I spend a lot of money on doodads and stuff like that, because I kind of felt sorry for this guy who ran this AT&T store, because 90% of what he sells in his store, I asked him, are iPhones. Okay. Who's his major competitor at selling iPhones?
Nobody.
Apple.
Oh, Apple.
The very
Okay.
people that are supplying him with product, they're also his biggest competitors. There's something very wrong with that, And so I think that there's something very wrong about the kind of majority that Amazon has. I mean, come on. Yeah, you could say there are some other sites that try to sell stuff,
eBay.
But eBay, it doesn't sell stuff. eBay are people who want to resell stuff or sell used stuff.
I buy new stuff on eBay. When Amazon won't send it to me, I buy it on eBay.
Yeah, but you don't buy it from eBay.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, no, you're buying it from individuals who somehow laid their hands on a whole bunch of iPhones and are selling them to you slightly cheaper. But the point is that eBay is basically reselling stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I
Amazon
mean,
does the same thing.
but my question is, isn't Amazon, for instance, a real problem to the independent retailer? I think independent retailers today, you buy everything online, don't you?
Who are you talking to?
You.
Me?
Yeah.
No, I go food shopping.
No. Forget about food
Oh, you
shopping.
mean junk? Yeah, I do. I buy most stuff online. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So do I. But what's that doing to those people who are the retailers who you used to go to buy that stuff?
It's hurting them. Sears went out of business. Kmart went out of business.
Yep.
Only the big people.
And those were big guys. Think about the small guys who are going out of business.
Right.
That's why I like Kamala talking about small business. Mm-hmm. I think we need to bring that back. I think we need to bring back entrepreneurship and all those things that we seem to have lost because what the hell, It's just kind of sad all the way around. So anyway, I'm going to do a show, by the way, on because I'm going away on that Thursday, but I'm going to do a show on Tuesday night of that week, so we can all talk about the election coverage and so on and so forth. And then I probably will do a show with the interview I do at the beginning of the show on Wednesday, so we can talk about the results or bemoan it or pass out razor blades, either for slicing your wrists or cutting the drugs. It's.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can get free heroin, I understand, from Gabnet.
Yeah.
This is a joke. This is a joke, just for you people out in listening land. But all you got to do is turn in your Gabnet bucks.
Exactly. Tom, are you having what they're calling the election angst?
The election anxiety?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I mean, it's unescapable, getting back to, the way the media's covered, especially when we get into the closing days. And the big buzz phrase now towards Harris is she didn't close the deal, I listened to the CNN town hall.
Yeah.
And after the town hall, they came in with their analysts. And the first one was Dana Bash, who says, well, people telling me that what they heard is she didn't seal the deal. And I go, that's not the town hall I heard. And so I just turned it off.
Well, what you also hear, the other term that you're hearing a lot is they're in their closing arguments.
That's right.
What is this, a trial?
Well, yeah. I mean, they're considered a trial. The closing arguments, and so it's they're just being judged by two different standards, and I'm just Harris is being judged by. Well, she hasn't really done enough to get the people to know her.
I think she's done a lot to.
I mean,
she's done a lot to get people to know her because they didn't know her before this whole thing started, and that was less than 3 months ago.
Yeah, but I mean, no matter how much she tries to do that, you've got these pundits around saying, "Oh, she hasn't."
You know what they kept saying?
It's like.
Yeah. But you know what they were saying for the longest time was, well, she really hasn't talked what she's going to do if she's president. And she kept talking about what she was going to do and talking about what she was going to do. And as long as they kept saying it, everybody's going, she just isn't saying what she's going to do if she's president.
And then listen to Trump. And what's Trump saying? I mean, he's just talking in generalities. Yeah. The only specific thing he's talked about is this this across-the-board tariff on all products that come in, and then trying to convince people that this isn't going to raise their prices. It's like, it's insane. There's a lot of things that you can't buy that are made in this country, and if you want them, it's going to be a tax on you. So it's silly that as I said, they're judging Trump with a different standard.
Did this guy not go to school for, what, 4 years at Wharton?
Yep.
What did he learn?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Oh, I'm going to see. Sneeze.
Oh, Gesundheit. Gesundheit. You got your allergies going on? Is that it?
Allergies, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Yeah, and allergies are 12 months a year now. Oh boy.
They're here too.
There we go. Better now. But no, I mean, it's just, I can't believe the man ever went to Wharton. You know?
Yep.
So.
He went there, but he didn't learn anything.
He didn't learn anything.
Obviously.
He's just getting more and more unhinged.
Huh?
You know? We're just watching him getting more and more unhinged.
Oh, and what you're watching is a guy who is slowly getting more and more towards getting dementia.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, the way in which he's acting is very like dementia. When he gets out and he gives a speech for 2 hours, I mean, he's out there for 2 hours and doesn't say anything to speak of. But he goes out for 2 hours and just rambles around, and he goes to one thing and he bounces off to another. He's like a pinball machine, you know? And he goes back and forth between these various people. Hold on a second. There we go. Because once I sneeze, then I've got to blow my nose. Oh, hey, here comes Bree. He'll talk some sense into us. He's probably eating lunch. He's probably eating lunch. What do you want to bet he's eating lunch?
Yeah.
Let's see here. Here we go. Here's Bree. He's eating lunch.
Yeah.
We were betting you were going to be eating lunch.
Yeah, you were right.
Yeah.
You were right.
Yeah.
I'm eating lunch.
Yeah.
I got my noise canceling headphones in. I'm not flying
Why is it in that restaurant you seem to get this garbled sound?
Yeah, we don't understand you.
When you're out, you're fine. Maybe you're using their Wi-Fi or something.
No, I'm on 5G, so
You're
I'll
on,
speak slowly.
it could be your 5G.
Yeah, it's
Could be.
Move back to the United States where our technology is better.
I've been having a lot of issues with the internet the past few days. You wouldn't believe.
Right,
You would
right.
not believe.
Isn't it amazing how much the world is just just gotten cohesive because of the internet? I mean, look,
I'll try going on that. I'm going to go on their Wi-Fi. Let's see.
you're going to go on their Wi-Fi. Try their Wi-Fi. Let's see.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
There we go. And now he's also in portrait mode.
Yeah, how come that changed?
Well, I'm moving my phone around to try to,
Well,
get the Wi-Fi. I think I've got to log in.
Turn it around the other way. Turn it the other way. Turn it the other way.
Like this?
Yeah, yeah.
There you go.
No, that doesn't. Before you were like, I think you got yourself locked. Oh no! Oh, the Wi-Fi is working great.
well, boy.
Hey, come
Well,
back to
we
the
did-
United States. We got this technology thing all figured out.
yeah.
Okay, I'm on their internet. You can hear me better?
No,
No.
no. What kind of phone are you using?
S22 Ultra.
Oh, it's time for a new iPhone.
What is it?
S22 Ultra, but I'm getting the new iPad mini. Is that available in the Apple Store in New York? Because I was going to go to the Apple Store here if they have it.
Yeah, they have them in all the stores. Yeah, the Mini is very popular.
No, I went to one of the retailers called Switch. Yesterday they didn't have it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I'm going to go to the Apple
You know what
Store
I was
itself.
going to get? I was going to get one of the bigger what is it?
The Pro.
The Pro, but the
iPad Pro.
no,
Yeah.
no. We're talking about the phone. I was going to get the phone that's the highest end. What is it? The XL Pro or something it's called. And he said, "Here, pick it up." And I held it. And he said, "You want to carry that around in your pocket?" I mean, this thing there was a real heft to it, you know.
Oh, that looks good, Bree.
That looks good.
Yeah.
It's good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where can you get a good hamburger around there?
Oh, you haven't lived until you've had a Ramley burger.
A Whamley burger?
Ramley burger. You need one, Alex. Come to Malaysia.
Okay, what kind of meat is it?
I don't know.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
But you can look it up. Look it up. Ramle.
Yeah.
Ramley burger. Okay?
So anyway, Tom, what are you doing on election day? Are you working the polls or anything, or?
No, I don't work the polls anymore. I'll just be doing probably my regular jobs.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I stopped when the pandemic stopped and they stopped doing the they
In person.
went to mostly I mean Kevin, I mean I really admire him. I mean, of course he does like the 4 day. That's the only way you can really do it is you got to go in, you go to a big location and sit and wait and do that for 4 days. And I just didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
I used to, I'll tell you, I used to work the polls in my neighborhood, and it was really fun. It was like down by the fire station, and see all my neighbors and coming in and their ballots and signing in. I just really loved it, but it doesn't appeal to me anymore.
Yeah. Well, Amy wrote me today because I wanted to tell her that I was doing that Tuesday. And she said that at her polling place, where she's working some polling place, that they had an incident with somebody showing up with a gun or something.
Oh, my.
This is in Texas.
In Texas? Okay, I think it's allowed.
Yeah.
You're right. In Texas, you are allowed to carry a weapon.
Not in your hand, though.
Not in your hand,
Had the gun in his hand.
You can wear it in a holster.
You can have it in a holster, yeah.
Oh, you have to have it in your hand, you say?
No.
No.
This guy had it in his hand. That is illegal. You cannot walk around holding a gun in your hand.
In his hand. And he was holding it in his hand, she said?
That's what Amy said, yeah.
Oh, okay.
If he was black and 6 years old, he would have been shot.
Yeah. But the thing
And
is...
it had been a toy gun.
Yeah. But the thing is that I mean, that's terrible. That's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that it was out. I do know that in Texas.
That's why they called the cops, is because he was intimidating people because he had the gun out.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Well, it's going to be a really fun election, isn't it, huh?
Oh, boy. See, that's why I vote by mail. I don't have to worry about anybody standing around with a gun intimidating me.
Yeah.
Yep. I vote by mail, too.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to get COVID or one of 17 other diseases that are floating around.
Yeah. Do you have the latest vaccination?
Yeah, a month ago for that, and the flu 2.5 weeks.
Then what are you worried about?
I don't like being sick,
No, but what are you worried about?
You can still get a mild case,
Well, you get a mild case. You go down, you get the what do you call it? The Paxlovid, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't hear of many people dying these days from COVID. Although you know who almost died from COVID? He just revealed it was Al Pacino.
Oh, really?
You're right. We don't hear.
We don't hear about it.
People are still dying from COVID.
Yeah,
Yeah.
1,000 people a week are dying from
Still
COVID.
1,000 a week?
Yeah.
Yep. They're just not reporting it anymore.
Oh boy. Yeah. Well, we got all our shots.
Well, it's our group of people that are the highest at risk.
I know, but if I feel that I've got COVID and I take a test and I've got COVID, I'm immediately calling my doctor and I get Paxlovid.
Right.
And I've used Paxlovid before and it worked out fine. By the way, my ex-girlfriend, Kathleen, who used to call this show a lot, just sent me a message that says, by far, the most scariest election in history.
Yeah.
I think so. I don't know of any that's worse than this has been, you know? So, what the heck? So...
Los Angeles wins the Dodgers wins the first 6-3
Okay.
on a grand slam.
All right, everybody's going to call now.
Okay, that's done now.
Yeah, that's what I was.
I wanted to watch that, but now I won't. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. Well, we didn't really want to watch you eat.
The World Series.
I only watch the reviews. I watch the game reviews because it takes far less time.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does, but it's probably far more fun to watch it. I mean, I'm not a big sports fan, but I like the World Series. I think it's cool,
The only person on the show that's got a sports Emmy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the only talk show host I know of that actually served in the military.
Really?
Yeah. All these guys like Hannity and so on, none of them ever were in the military.
All these patriots, yeah.
All these patriots, yeah. No, I was in the, I was in the Navy. Granted, I was in Hollywood, but I was in the Navy. And as I said before, don't just realize that I don't know of any planes under my watch that got past Santa Monica Boulevard. Tom doesn't have to laugh. He's heard all these before over the years,
Well, when you say planes, you underline the word planes because they hadn't developed jets at that point, right?
They hadn't developed planes, to tell you the truth.
All right.
You guys know who the first president that was on an airplane?
The first president that was on an airplane.
Grover Cleveland.
I guess Roosevelt.
Bree said Grover Cleveland.
Teddy Roosevelt.
I was going to say Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah, and he was on with the two guys.
He was also the first to ride in a car, too. Teddy Roosevelt.
Well, Teddy Roosevelt was kind of adventurous, wasn't he? He was always out there in front of all the stuff that was happening.
Mr. Unique.
Yeah.
And he was Republican, too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was different being a Republican back then.
Back then.
Yeah, no kidding.
Republicans were sane back then.
Well, it's not even sanity. They were, actually, the Democrats were kind of considered the assholes at that time, But slowly, I think that the Republicans have done a very good job of taking up the mantle of asshole, And why should we Democrats take all the heat? That's what I'm saying.
Bree, you don't have to watch tomorrow night either. I'll just tell you the score right now.
I'll be sure not to tune in.
I don't follow it. It just came up as a flash.
Well, do they run it live where you are, Bree?
Well, you can watch it anywhere.
Yes and no. No, I don't believe they run it on the cable system here, but I don't get that, so I don't know. But you can get a TV box, and TV box will get it every channel around the world.
Yeah. So, but you can watch it live if you wanted to, right?
I could, yes.
Okay, well then don't blame us for ruining it for you.
That's right. He could have been watching it instead of eating.
Yeah, but you see, that's the thing, that the timings for sports doesn't work over here. So I wait till the next day, and then I just watch all the games I wanted to see. I watch the review.
I never understood is why somebody would record a sports event, because it's over with. You want to see it while it's happening, the excitement of it happening. Doesn't make it.
As long as
you don't know the outcome.
What'd you say, Charlie?
It's fine as long as nobody tells you what's happening. Because if I'm out there on fire, I can't watch it live. But if I record it,
yeah. But if you're watching a recording, you can speed it forward. There's always that temptation,
If you get an iPhone 16, you can plaster it to the front of your face, and it'll time the speed of the baseball with its radar or whatever. Not kidding. I don't know.
By the way, you know this new iPhone will actually shoot in 3D. If you have one of their goggles, it will allow you to shoot for the goggles in 3D.
Wow.
Oh. And that cost you $10 or something?
That cost me $10. Yeah, $10.
Yeah, the goggles are 2,000.
No, they're 3,500.
Are they? Oh my God.
You know, I'm into gadgets. I have no desire to buy that thing. You know, I think it's a little item of Apple's that came out a little too early. Wasn't ready for prime time.
Yeah, maybe so.
So anyway, so is Elon Musk still running his contest?
I don't.
As far as I
I
know.
don't know.
As far as you know, he's still running the contest. Son of a bitch.
There's questions out there if it's legal or not.
Yeah.
Well, I know that. Yeah,
You give me
absolutely.
$1 million, I'll vote for Trump.
$1 million wouldn't be enough for me.
It wouldn't?
No.
Okay. You know.
Of course,
because-
Charlie's just saying that. He'd actually go in the booth, vote for Trump, and take the $1 million.
yeah, yeah.
No, I'd take the $1 million and go vote for Harris anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
That's
I
right.
think they'd have to see you do your mail-in ballot.
Yeah.
You know, then they could pay you.
Well, you know, if you get $1 million, you can help buy an election, you know. So. I mean, why doesn't he just, you know, he's got enough money. Why doesn't he give everybody in America $1 million? I
Yeah, really.
mean, how many times does a million go into 120 billion?
120,000 times.
120,000 times?
Yeah.
I guess it wouldn't take care of the whole United States. Only 120,000 times?
That's
He
true.
only needs to buy off
No.
the swing votes in the swing states.
Yeah, that's what he was doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I can't figure out what this contest was exactly. Can you guys? Have you figured it out?
No.
I mean, you're supposed to sign a piece of paper saying you believe in the Second Amendment and in the Constitution. How's that? I don't think he's really doing anything. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what they say. But I don't know that he's doing anything illegal because he's not saying,
No,
if
it
you
doesn't
promise
matter.
to vote for Trump, I'll give you $1 million. You know, he's not saying that.
The thing about Musk is he has so much money that he doesn't care whether it's legal or illegal because he can tie it up in courts for years and years. The Blade Runner people told him, don't use our stuff as a backdrop. He said, no, I'm going to use it anyway. You can sue me. And
Yeah, but what happens if
He just does what he does.
there's going to be a day when this guy goes broke or something's going to happen. He's not going to have the money. Then how's he going to defend himself?
And by then he'll be out of the picture. But I'm sure he's got, 20, 30 million squirreled away and
Oh, yeah.
throughout the world.
20, 30 million is nothing. It's pocket change to him.
Yeah, I
No,
guess.
I mean, in 50 or 100 banks around the world.
Yeah.
Anyway, hey, listen, that's about it for tonight. That's about it for this week. I hope everybody had a good time tonight. Always a good time when Tom Yamaguchi stops by. Always good when Charlie's here. He's exceptionally brainy. Thank you so much, Alan. Nice having you here as well as Bree. And Jeffrey Stein, always a pleasure. Love you, my friend. Anyway, everybody, give yourself a big kind of wave goodbye, and I will give a big wave goodbye at you. Okay, there they go, folks. There's our people, and here we are, and we will see you. On Monday, we're going to be doing the little show that we do called the Pop-Up Show on Hulu, not Hulu, Facebook. And, there's no show after me tonight because Amy has taken the next week and a half off. But we'll see you again on Monday and then again on Wednesday for once again the Ramble right here. See you then. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, you know what to do. Tell her I love her, okay? Bye, everybody.